What's up YouTube? Jethro Outdoors here, and today I'm doing a video that is a little different than what I usually do. Now this is kind of stuff I like to do in my off time. Got a buddy of mine here, Zach, and he just got this old boat motor for $100 and a 6-pack of beer. It's an old, we're thinking it's like a 1956 or 57. It's a Johnson 30 horse. And we're hoping we can make this thing run. It does turn over, it's got compression, we don't know if it has spark, and we do not know the condition of the carburetor, but we're gonna see if we can make the thing run. He's got a little 15.5-foot boat that this thing would go pretty well on, so that way we can do some walleye fishing come springtime in the Maumee River. So if you want to see if this thing will run, stay tuned. Okay, so last few days this Marvel oil has been sitting in the motor just to make sure that if there was anything in there that needed loosened up, if maybe there was any rust on the cylinder walls or anything, if things been sitting a long time, some moisture could have gotten in there. So we just put some rags in front of it, pulled it over without spark plugs in it to get all that oil to spit out and not make a mess on the garage floor. And now we're putting a little bit of starting fluid in there. Let's try to get all that oil out of there so that way we don't instantly follow the plugs come time to yank this thing over with the plugs in there. So gonna pull it over just to get some of that oil cleaned out of there. Should be good. So just a second ago, Zach was sitting here yanking this thing over, and on that wire right there was a little blue spark. Here, let's reposition this. Maybe get it, oh yeah. There's a spark. It's got spark and it's got compression. I mean, theoretically speaking, if we take apart that carburetor and clean it out, this thing should run pretty easy. This would be pretty cool. For $100 in a case of beer.
6-pack.
Oh, well, a 6-pack of beer, a small case of beer. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so as you can see from the video before, it doesn't have a spark plug boot on it, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of jerry rigging here to make the spark plug wires connect to the plugs themselves, and then we're gonna give this thing a shot of starting fluid just to see if it pops over real easy. Once that happens, then we'll probably have to hook some water up to it and actually give it some gas. So stay tuned, and hopefully you can see this thing run real fast. I would be amazed. We've only really been working on this thing for like maybe 10-15 minutes, kind of screwing around with it. I would be amazed if this thing ran that easy. It's a really cool motor. There's some people like to take these things and really spruce them up, maybe give them a new paint job, polish whatever can be polished on them, all that kind of thing, and hang them up on their walls because it's an antique. So it's actually a really cool piece, whether it actually works or not, but we're thinking this thing's actually going to work out pretty well. Alright, so we're almost to the part where we can try to pop this thing off with some starting fluid, but in the meantime we're doing some nice custom work here, real quality, done by Vale and Math Customs, and also put this little handy dandy strap down here because every time you yank on it up here, it's trying to yank it up off of our nice 2x4 stand we got here. So yeah, we'll see if this thing runs in a second. Cross your fingers, folks. This thing's gonna pop off and maybe blow up or something, I don't know. Moment of truth here, folks. We're gonna hit this thing with a shot of ether, even though we can't get off the air box to check and see how that looks like in there. Can't seem to get it off for now. We need a torch, can't find the torch. We're just gonna move forward and see if it pops off.
Ready?
That should be good. Oh, come on, man. Now you're just getting crazy with it. All right. no start for that time anyway. Put the choke back on, see if maybe that helps. This thing was sitting in the bed of his truck until like, I don't know, probably an hour ago, so it's pretty cold. Maybe we'll just, you know, start a fire under it and that'll heat her up real quick.
Ready?
I'm wondering if maybe that air box is just too clogged and that ether's not getting in there. Because it's got compression, it's got spark, and we just gave it ether and it didn't fire. So something's not. We'll come back to you when we got this a little bit more figured out, folks. Alright, figured out how to get that air box off, so that's down there, and now we got this all opened up on here. And yeah, so it won't run. We gave it ether, it's got spark compression, or so we thought it had spark. It had spark to the wire, connected it to the plugs, put the plugs in. We're not so sure about it now. We'll figure it out. Ready?
Give us a straight down the throat hole.
Hang on.
Oh. You broke our fancy stand.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it to her anyways.
I don't know that it's going to be able to handle it.
Okay, we're gonna find out. Ready?
Sure. Maybe as I'll ever be.
Backfires, I'll be the first to know.
Woo! Thing just backfired into my leg. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I just took a ball of flame to my leg. Good thing I'm wearing pants, because it shot out the exhaust, which was, you know, conveniently right next to my leg. So it's getting something. I'm gonna stand slightly off to the side. Oh, catch my bridge is on fire. Our stand is kind of broken here. Let me get the GoPro off. I have to do a little bit of work on that. You know, it's, you know, yanking that off. So yeah, some reinforcement is needed. We're gonna have to fix that before we keep yanking this thing over and, you know, just drop it on the garage floor. Take two on trying to get this pig started. Got some reinforcement with our stand here, and we're gonna give her a shot, see what happens. I put my foot down on the bottom of that thing too.
Woo! That's nuts.
Oh yeah.
Let's keep running.
Yeah, a little nervous, isn't it?
Put the screw in. I forgot to tighten that screw really good. It smells like ether, at least.
It backfires. It's like it wants to start, but it's just not quite yet. I gotta wonder why it's hit and miss like that. I feel like it should be really easy. Like, if it's gonna backfire, I feel like it should have popped off better than it has.
Just gonna crank down. I'm just gonna explode.
Guess it's just not ready to start yet. Take three. See if this thing will fire up a little bit more than it did last time. So, I don't know if you can see this on here or not. Let me check and see. So you can see it's a little fuzzy on the camera, being too close, but there's a gap right there. Yeah, so there's a gap on that spark plug. Let me see that other one. And there's no gap on that one. It's touching. That ain't supposed to be touching. So these spark plugs we knew were just a little bit longer than the original ones. And apparently, oh yeah, that one's real smashed down on there too. So not enough gap, no gap, and no gap. So that's a problem. Gonna need some new spark plugs. We're gonna check the compression on this thing and maybe see if, even though it has some, maybe it's just too low. Just under 90 pounds. It probably should be a little higher than 90 pounds, but it should probably run on 90. I also don't know what this old motor is supposed to have. It is a 1950s, so maybe these older ones didn't quite have as much bang as some of the newer two-strokes. Alright, about 70 pounds. That might be kind of a problem. We're gonna have to try to see if we can get a manual for this thing and see what kind of PSI it's supposed to have, but I think that's probably too low to run. So I'm not so sure this one's gonna run. We may have to rebuild it to make it run. We'll have to check prices on parts to really even see if it's worth it. Did only pay $100 for the thing and a 6-pack of beer, so it really might not be worth rebuilding, but guess we'll find out, and we'll let you know when we do. So due to the low compression, we decided to pull the head off, give the cylinders a look over and see what they look like, and I haven't even looked in it yet. So first look at the cylinders. Hopefully they look all right, but I've got my doubts. Well, that's not good. There's some like insulation coming out of there from mice. Now that must be sucking them in through the intake. You know what? I can see more. There, right there. I can see more down in here. Can't get to it, but it honestly,
it doesn't look bad.
Not terrible. I can feel a little bit of a tiny scratch right around over here, and you can just barely see it, but not bad. Certainly some funny shaped pistons. They're very odd. But I guess the jugs and the lower end and everything on this are the same as the old 25 horse version of this. So all they changed was the pistons and the heads, and created 5 more horsepower out of the same thing. So yeah, let's spin that thing over and see what the cylinder looks like up top here. Alright, that's pretty good. Smooth all the way around. Oh, there's a little bit of a rough spot. And you can see almost like there's a little bit of rust there, but very little. It honestly doesn't look bad. Alright, so we are doing some further tearing down of this here outboard to maybe figure out what the hell's wrong with the thing. Because the cylinder walls aren't bad enough that it should have that low compression. Maybe it needs new rings or something, but this thing's got more than just that for the problem, so we're gonna figure it out. Taking off some exhaust part here. Oh, that could be part of our problem. I mean, I don't think that should be all of our problem. How in the hell did a mouse get in there? That is gross. All right, we're back with, you know, attempt number like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6. And we've come up with an idea for a little bit of electric start. Let's see how this works. How low is that battery?
0%.
Ah, I gotta change the battery out before we try this. All right, got a new battery in the GoPro. Now let's give this another shot. Alright, so I guess that wasn't the end of the video. Turn off the camera and everything cool happens. Earlier this thing caught on fire, but the freaking GoPro wasn't on for it. And it almost just started because he just kept tinkering with it when I shut off the camera. So we're going to give this another round, but now we got a corded drill for our electric start. So let's give her another shot. Take like 14. Yeah, something like that. Ready?
Oh, she's gonna rip.
Let's try this again. Well, that was eventful. Did it backfire?
I don't know what it did, but it hurt.
It jerked you pretty hard, didn't it?
Yeah, it looks something cool happening on camera.
Oh, it's starting to seem a little bit more promising. I'm just gonna keep tinkering with it. Can't hurt too much, right?
Well, you got a good grasp on it. Just keep going. Ooh, she shot a flame too.
What did?
Like a flame it. Very subtly.
Feels like it's pretty close to running, and it's certainly firing a lot more than it was. I gotta wonder if maybe turning it over so fast, getting things moving again, maybe one of those rings on one of the pistons was kind of stuck. Maybe we freed it up a bit. I think we need to do another compression test on it. Let's see what the results of that are. Moment of truth to see if this thing has any better compression than it used to have. The engine's actually warm now. From sitting there cranking it over and it firing a few times, it's actually pretty warm. So maybe, just maybe, now it'll have enough compression. It certainly feels like it does when you're cranking it over with this thing. All right, what is it?
Oh, look at that. Went up.
Hey, it's almost 100. That's a win. That went from about 60 up to 100 now that it's warm. Let's check the other one.
Yeah, on the top one is.
I think we might be able to get away with not rebuilding this thing. it might have just needed some things a little loosened up after sitting for so long and kind of cleaned out. When we had the exhaust, some kind of exhaust cover off on the other side, there was that nest in there, and there was also about a 1/2 inch thick carbon covering a whole bunch of crap in there. So like, things are starting to look up. It might run. That one should have more. It felt like it.
Oh, it's over 120. About 130.
Oh yeah. 130 PSI. That one's fine. The other one's still down at 100, but you know what?
I wonder if it's got a sticky ring.
I think that's going to be just fine. Yeah, that's going to do. Stay tuned, folks. We are going to make this thing run. It will. Got my electric start here. Got a squirt bottle full of gasoline. See if we can make it happen. Do not try this at home. We are redneck professionals. Gotta tuck that up in my armpit so it doesn't fly away on me. Yeah. Lucky for me, that flywheel doesn't have any teeth on it, otherwise it'd probably eat me right now.
It ran.
It
runs.
Somewhat running. That squirt bottle sucks though. Do not ever buy a Walmart brand squirt bottle. They're horrible. All right, well, I broke my electric start. Well, yeah, I done broke that right off. So that kind of sucks, but I'm not really surprised that that happened either. Yeah, so I guess I could clamp that down on the drill, but I don't think it would work very well. It's gonna need those little ridges in it, the part that's still in the drill, to actually work, so crap. That just done did us in for now. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, whatever your thoughts are. And if you'd like to see more episodes or videos, if you will, of Will It Run, I do already have one other project that I may do of a little Chinese dirt bike. So I'm probably going to be looking for some future projects, maybe something cheap or free I can trade or buy for extremely cheap into, just to make some videos out of it. Sounds like fun. I like wrenching on some stuff. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.